When the podcast came out, it was news to me. I'd frankly never heard of the company Aspiration before, and I'd never heard a whiff of anything around an endorsement deal with Kawhi or anything around engagement with the Los Angeles Clippers. So it was all new to me. I heard it. I saw some of the follow-up information. We spoke internally. Rick Buchanan, our general counsel, is here, who oversees any investigations. Rick had a conversation with Steve Ballmer, and we quickly concluded this was something that rose to the level that necessitates an investigation. In fact, one that's done outside of our office, and Wachtell Lipton, New York law firm that we've used in the past for for investigations like this, is overseeing it. And again, I would also say I've been around the league long enough in different permutations of allegations and accusations that I'm a big believer in due process and fairness, and you need to now let the investigation run its course. The public at times reaches conclusions that later turn out to be completely false, and so I would want anybody else in situation Mr. Ballmer is in now, or Kawhi Leonard for that matter, to be treated the same way I would want to be treated if people were making allegations against me. So the answer is, we're not a court of law at the end of the day either, that we have broad authority to look at all information and to weigh it accordingly.
In the heart of Los Angeles, where bright lights meet billion-dollar basketball dreams, a storm is brewing, one that threatens to shake the NBA to its very foundation. The accusations? Fraud, salary cap cheating, a secret deal worth millions. The target? Kawhi Leonard, Steve Ballmer, and the Los Angeles Clippers. And at the center of this firestorm stands NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, a man facing the biggest test of his reign. Does he have the courage to ban one of the league's marquee franchises and its quiet superstar? It all began with a report. A bombshell dropped into the NBA's bloodstream like a viral explosion. Veteran journalist Pablo Torre revealed a story that sounded almost too bold to believe. In 2021, Clippers owner Steve Ballmer, a man with a net worth north of $100 billion, invested $50 million into a startup company called Aspiration. The same company, within months, signed Kawhi Leonard to a jaw-dropping $28 million endorsement deal. But here's the twist. Kawhi didn't have to lift a finger. No commercials, no appearances, no social media posts, nothing. It was a no-show deal, and according to documents and whistleblowers, it was never about business. It was about circumventing the NBA's salary cap. One Aspiration employee put it bluntly: this was all a scheme to funnel money to Kawhi, so the Clippers could keep him happy without the salary cap catching up. If true, this wasn't just a small rules violation. This was the most audacious act of salary cap cheating in NBA history. The league erupted. Executives from rival teams had two instant reactions. Reaction number one, what the bleep? Reaction number two, how bleeped are the Clippers? Across the NBA, the whispers grew into roars. This wasn't the usual under-the-table perk like a free car or a handshake promise for a future payday. This was tens of millions of dollars moved through a bankrupt startup to keep a superstar in Los Angeles. Former executives scoffed, "This reeks. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Everyone bends the rules a little, but this is insane." The scandal struck at the core of the NBA's structure, the salary cap. That $154.6 million system isn't just a number. It's the backbone of competitive balance. It's what keeps small market teams alive, what prevents billionaires from simply buying championships. And now, that system was under direct attack. All eyes turned to Adam Silver. The commissioner, once hailed as a progressive leader, now faced the biggest crisis since Donald Sterling's racist tapes shook the league in 2014. Back then, Silver banned Sterling for life. In 2021, he forced Robert Sarver to sell the Suns after allegations of racism and misogyny. But this was different, because this wasn't about morality. This was about the integrity of the game itself. If the Clippers truly funneled $48 million through fake sponsorships, the entire salary cap system would collapse. Owners would riot, rival teams would revolt, fans would question whether the NBA was rigged for billionaires. Adam Silver knew one thing: If he let this slide, chaos would follow. The NBA immediately called in the heavy artillery, the powerful law firm Wachtel, Lipton, Rosen, and Katz, the same legal assassins who exposed Sterling and Sarver. They began digging. Emails, texts, contracts, boardroom whispers. Nothing was safe. And the stakes? Massive. If the Clippers were guilty, punishments could include forfeited draft picks, suspension of Steve Ballmer, avoiding of Kawhi Leonard's contract, fines in the tens of millions. And yes, the nuclear option, banning Kawhi Leonard and crippling the Clippers. This wasn't the first time the NBA had seen something like this. Back in 1999, the Minnesota Timberwolves tried a secret wink-wink deal with Joe Smith. They promised him $86 million in future contracts in exchange for signing a cheap one. David Stern, then commissioner, dropped the hammer. 5 first-round picks stripped, contracts voided, suspensions handed down. It was one of the harshest punishments in sports history. Now, Adam Silver was staring at something even bigger, because Kawhi wasn't Joe Smith. He was a 2-time Finals MVP, a top 10 player of his generation, and the Clippers weren't just any team. They were the billion-dollar franchise trying to dethrone the Lakers in their own city. Behind the scenes, other owners seethe. If this goes unpunished, franchise values plummet, one executive warned. If the salary cap doesn't matter, the whole league collapses. Small market teams, Milwaukee, Memphis, Indiana, were furious. They could never dream of matching Steve Ballmer's billions or his willingness to bend the rules. Executives laughed at the Clippers' denials. You expect us to believe a startup company paid Kawhi $28 million for nothing, and the Clippers had nothing to do with it? Come on, that stretches credulity. The word around the league was brutal. And then there was Kawhi Leonard, the silent assassin, the man who rarely speaks above a whisper, now caught in the middle of a scandal louder than anything the NBA had heard in years. Court documents showed that Kawhi's deal with Aspiration would be void if he left the Clippers. Translation? This wasn't about business. It was about chaining him to Los Angeles, outside the reach of the salary cap. For Kawhi, who built his career on discipline, quiet dominance, and avoiding drama, this scandal was poison. His reputation now dangled in the balance. The pressure mounted. At the September Board of Governors meeting, every owner looked to Adam Silver. They demanded answers. They demanded consequences. Silver's press conference loomed. The cameras would be rolling. The world would be watching. Would he act like David Stern in 1999, swinging the hammer with ruthless authority? Or would he hesitate, cautious as ever, waiting for a smoking gun that might never appear? The CBA gave him latitude. Cap circumvention could be proven through circumstantial evidence. He didn't need an email from Ballmer saying, "Pay Kawhi under the table." But Silver was a lawyer. He knew one wrong move could trigger lawsuits, appeals, and chaos. This was more than an investigation. It was a test of his legacy. Rumors swirled across the league. Silver was considering the ultimate punishment, banning Kawhi Leonard and crippling the Clippers franchise. It would be unprecedented. It would be catastrophic. It would also send a message that no player, no owner, no billionaire, no superstar is above the rules. Because if Kawhi and the Clippers got away with this, who would be next? LeBron, Curry, Luka? Would every star have a billionaire owner funneling millions through fake companies? Silver's decision wouldn't just affect one team, it would determine the future of the NBA itself. The NBA waits, fans wait, the Clippers wait, and Adam Silver knows the truth. Whatever he decides, history will judge him. Will Kawhi Leonard become the face of the NBA's biggest scandal? Will Steve Ballmer's billion-dollar empire be shattered by greed and arrogance? And will Adam Silver risk everything to protect the integrity of the league? Because one thing is certain, this isn't just about the Clippers. This isn't just about Kawhi. This is about whether the NBA is a game or a rigged spectacle for the rich and powerful. The investigation is ongoing. The truth is still hidden. But one thing is clear, this scandal will not go away quietly. The league is watching. The fans are watching. The world is watching. And in the end, only one man can decide the fate of the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard, and the very soul of the NBA, Adam Silver.